Hello, we're just getting on board. Get on board. We know we're moving. Do 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 do. Sunday, January 25th, 2026. Right. Do 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 do. I see you, Martin. I see you, Vondelin. We're just seeing who anybody else give anybody else a minute before we start. Because I know sometimes people like to come in late. Da-da. Right. Okay, 6:33, just another minute. I just try to do that because I know people when they come in late and sometimes I end up repeating myself. And other times I know people are just in different situations, getting off work, coming off, getting out of church, all the other good stuff. Time I have 6:33. We are in Eastern time. Okay. So let's just da da da. Okay. Do do. Guys, I think that might be enough of the drag time. Check my volume. Okay, volume is up. All right. I know everybody's having different weather. Uh Martin, how's the weather where you're located, Martin? And Vondelin, how's the weather where you're located? I can't remember where everyone's located. I'm just asking how's the weather because I know people are in
Raining.
okay. I got a cold for Vondelin. Vondelin, where you at? What state?
I'm in Delaware. Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm in Delaware. Earlier it's freezing rain. Earlier this afternoon I measured 7 inches, but since then it snowed more and the freezing rain has covered up any shoveling that we did. We made a path for our dogs to go out. So that's all covered up. So I don't know how much more has fallen, but it's still freezing rain.
Okay, wow. All right. Martin, uh where are you located, Martin, and how's the weather?
I am located in South Germany,
Okay.
and it's right after midnight here, and it's a little bit raining outside.
Okay, a little bit raining. Do you have any just rain, no snow or sleet?
No, just a little bit rain. I hope it doesn't freeze because I have to work in a few hours. I'm
Okay.
delivering the newspapers to the people here in the town.
Okay, no problem. Well, let's get started. Andrea's here. We got every other people, they watch the replay later if it's recorded because I understand some people have to go to work and all those things. So let's just get started for week 66. We're going to get started. Martin, you may be able to give some insights this evening because we're going to be talking about the Netherlands, which is close to Germany. I know it's not Germany, but I know it's close. We're going to be speaking about some of the practices of the Netherlands. I'll explain exactly what's going on. Um, a little while ago, I had a word from the Lord concerning commercial real estate and farming, and He told me that we, people who are preparing for the future, who understand the prophetic word of famine and those things, we need to do what they're doing in the Netherlands. And when the Lord spoke that to me, I understood it because I understood some of the things that's going on in the Netherlands. The Netherlands, when I say Netherlands, I am including Amsterdam, that whole area, that country, the Netherlands. Um, they're doing a lot of growing, but not just growing outdoors. They're doing indoor growing of food. And Andrea's here. She had a word from the Lord concerning commercial real estate. I'm going to show you how this all ties together, guys. Just bear with me. Andrea, can you share with everybody really quick on what uh how you heard from the Lord about something about commercial real estate? Because you and I both received this word at the same time. You really received the commercial real estate word, and I received the do what they're doing in the Netherlands word because I did ask the Lord about real estate, like commercial real estate. That's why the Lord told me that. And it all just came together. I made a private video that I'm going to show you guys, and then it's going to start to make sense what we're discussing. Um, so Andrea, if you're there, if you're near the computer, because I know sometimes you got your hands full.
Yeah, I'm here. Well, it was during prayer. I just heard the Lord because he had given me a dream. I don't know, a year or two ago, where he mentioned Missouri, and while in prayer a few months ago, was praying about different things. He reminded me. He just said, "Remember, uh, Missouri," and then I said, "Oh yeah, that's true." And then he said, "Commercial property," and that was it. So the dream, I had that dream, I don't know, I want to say 1 or 2 years ago, and the word that was given to me during prayer was, I don't know, like a few weeks ago, more or
Hmm?
less. That was it.
Okay. So yeah, when you got the word again a few weeks ago, and then we spoke, and I literally got the same word about commercial real estate, and then the Lord, I prayed into it, and the Lord started opening my eyes, and He said, "Do what they're doing in the Netherlands." Hey, Dottie, good to see you. So this is very important because a lot of the people in this class, we are understanding the lateness of the hour. We're preparing. We're not only storing food for our friends and family or for our churches and preparing for emergency situations. I know some of you are definitely have, your gold and your silver, if whatever you can afford. But we know feeding people is going to be an issue in the future. So let me show you something. I will show you the private video first, just so we can start to make sense. Okay. In fact, I got to do the share. I have to share it first, guys. My apologies. Let's put the video sharing on. So video share, and I click share. Oops. And let me also make sure that I'm pressing all the right stuff. Okay. Let's just see if it's going to play properly because every now and then I have to make sure that I'm hitting all the right buttons. Okay. So this right here, can you see that, Andrea? Andrea can anybody see that? The video that I have up? Okay. I'm just trying to check the chat. Okay. And okay, thank you, Dottie. Thank you, Vondelin. I'm gonna hit play. Let me know if you can hear the volume because we just check all these things before I start showing you a bunch of videos. So let's just check the volume. Let me know if you can hear the volume, okay, guys? Just yes or no.
Despite its tiny size, they're the world's third largest agricultural exporter. Behind it.
All right, you can hear that? All right, thank you, Dottie. Thank you, Andrea. All right. So here's what they're saying. Remember what the Lord told me the other day. We're gonna just be patient. This is all coming together. Just think indoor farming, think famine, think Netherlands. And the Lord told me for us to do what they're doing in the Netherlands. So we're just looking at the model. The Netherlands is a very, very small country in Europe, guys, but they produce a large amount of food. They're one of the biggest exporters of food. They have that much food they produce in the country. They sell it worldwide. So let me just play part of this. I'm not going to play the whole video.
This is the Netherlands. Despite its tiny size, there are just US and Brazil, countries that have over 200 times more land mass than us.
Okay, I just seen a message from Dottie that she said no sound, but Andrea said there was sound. I just paused it. So,
Was
and
sound at the beginning, but right now you can't hear it. It's like static.
okay, thank you guys. That's why we're checking. That's why we're checking. Okay, Vondelin said the sound is choppy. All right. All right. So let me just check all of my volumes. So we know the volume is up. Okay. So if the sound is choppy, this just could be a connectivity issue. So I'm gonna just hit play again, but I do want to go back. Let me just hit the. I'm gonna go back and double check our sound. Just we do that sometimes. We just go back and check everything because it's always smart to do. Right here, share sound button. That's a very important button. I just clicked the share sound button. Okay, it should come in better now. All right. So now that we did that, I'm gonna hit play. Now remember, you just seen real quick in the Netherlands, the short part of the video. We can see right off this map how tiny the Netherlands is. The Netherlands, they produce as much food as the United States and Brazil. Now, you guys know the United States and Brazil are large countries, but the Netherlands is tiny. It's smaller than Texas. Okay? It's a small area of land, and yet for some reason they're producing all this food. So I'm gonna hit play.
Size, they're the world's third largest agricultural exporter, behind only the US and Brazil, countries that have over 200 times more landmass than it. This is because over 20 years ago, the country rallied around a slogan: produce twice as much food using half as many resources, and the results have been staggering. The Netherlands account for just 1% of all EU farmland, but it produces 6% of Europe's food. Dutch farms now grow more than 1.5 million tons of onions every year. 92% of that is exported. They harvest nearly 1 million tons of tomatoes annually and export $2 billion worth of them. Potato yields surpass 20 tons per acre, more than double the global average of 9. A potato farmer in the Netherlands will harvest almost twice as many potatoes per acre as a farmer in India, and 3 times as much wheat as a farmer.
I'm putting together a small team of
Sorry,
partners
we
right
know
now to
these
help me
commercials come
flip
up.
dirt, and I want to show you
That-
exactly how to do it. No
In Brazil. In total, the Netherlands exported $150 billion worth of food in 2024. So, how is this even possible? Well, more than half of the Netherlands is agricultural land, and on top of that, much of the country's food is actually grown indoors. Nearly 24,000 acres of crops are grown under glass, an area nearly twice the size of Manhattan. These greenhouses operate year-round and use 90% less water and 97% fewer pesticides than traditional fields. What's crazy is that 1 acre of Dutch greenhouse farming produces the same yield as 10 acres of conventional land. In terms of water, Dutch farms use only half a gallon of water to grow a pound of tomatoes. In China, that same pound requires 34 gallons, and the global average is more than 28. Production efficiency in the Netherlands simply far exceeds that of any other country. The country's gains are driven by automation and data. Precision agriculture is the standard. Drones and sensors monitor plant health, track soil moisture, and optimize nutrient delivery per plant. On livestock farms, robotic milking systems and automated feed units are common. The result is a system that produces more, wastes less, and uses less land, water, and labor than almost any other country in the world. But this efficiency didn't come out of nowhere. It's directly a cause of what happened in World War II. See, in the winter of 1944 to 1945, Dutch railway workers went on strike to support Operation Market Garden, an Allied plan to push into the Netherlands and secure a bridgehead across the Rhine River into Germany. While some cities like Eindhoven and Nijmegen were liberated, the operation wasn't a complete success, and the Western Netherlands, home to the country's largest population centers, remained under German control. In retaliation for the strike, a German blockade cut off food and fuel shipments to the region, beginning a famine. Then came a brutally cold winter on top of that. City dwellers walked for days in freezing weather to trade valuables for potatoes. Others survived on tulip bulbs and sugar beets. Rations dropped to 580 calories per day. The event became known as the Hunger Winter. By the end of it, over 22,000 people had died in the region. The scale of the crisis totally reshaped Dutch policy. After the war, the government made food security a national priority. It encouraged intensification, mechanization, and specialization in agriculture. Farmers received subsidies to invest in modern equipment and expand production. Education and research were coordinated around new techniques and higher yields. Cooperative networks were strengthened to stabilize supply chains and pricing. Between 1950 and 1980, agricultural output increased by over 60%, even as total farmland shrank due to urbanization driven by rapid post-war population growth. Fertilizer use tripled. Milk yields doubled. Poultry farming became fully industrialized. In the same period, universities partnered with the state to build out applied agricultural science programs. The crown jewel of the Netherlands' agricultural education is Wageningen University and Research. Located in the town of Wageningen, it's widely recognized as the world's top institution for agricultural science, ahead of major institutions in the US and China. The region surrounding it is known as Food Valley, which is basically the agricultural version of Silicon Valley, because of the network of over 1,500 agri-food companies, labs, and startups clustered around the university. 15 of the world's 20 largest agri-food companies have R&D centers in the Netherlands, from Coca-Cola to Nestlé to Cargill and more. Most are located within 50 kilometers of Wageningen. Some operate joint research labs. Others contract with university teams to test new models in crop science or food safety. Nearly every part of the food system, seeds, cold storage, packaging, logistics, automation, is represented within a short drive. But this is only half of it. See, there's not only Food Valley, but there's also Seed Valley as well, though this one's located in the province of North Holland, between Enkhuizen and Warmenhuizen. It houses many of the world's top seed companies, including Enzezaden, Incotec, and...
Now, I don't want to get on the seeds. I want us to stay focused. I just showed you that part. The important thing is, you know how this started. You got a little bit of the history. World War II, and what was the key thing? Famine. And famine, it kind of forced people, of course, all those people died in the famine. It forced people to become innovative. They learned how to be very productive in their country. And you've seen over that 30-year period, they started growing more food. But then, of course, now technology, they're now doing it indoors. You've seen that. So here's where I'm going to. If you look at this video, this is a video, I just recorded this a few weeks ago. I recorded it just for this class. I actually was going to put this publicly to give it as a free Patreon to everyone in the world, but I might be changing my mind. So this is still for the class. It's private. The other day when I recorded this is how this all happened. I was praying because I noticed especially in America, but I've noticed it in the UK as well because I do travel a lot. There's a lot of old shopping malls. Shopping malls, and we call them shopping malls mainly in the States, but sometimes they're also called uh there's another word for it. We call them malls, and we also call them shopping centers. Some of them are now shut down because of COVID. They got shut down. A lot of business we know went online. Also because of the economy. A lot of these places are empty. People cannot afford the rent, etc. A lot of these places are now up for sale or they're up for lease, and a lot of them are sitting empty. And I'm talking about not just in the United States, in other parts of the world. So you can check because I know Andrea, she's always between the United States and down south, Central America. She can check for her neck of the woods. Martin, he could check for Germany and his neck of the woods to see what it looks like out there. like I said, I travel between the UK and the United States a lot. I know the UK is starting to have this issue a little bit as well because the rent prices are going up very high, sometimes taxes. It's a culmination of things why some of these places are now empty. Well, here's the point. I was praying and I was asking the Lord explicitly, Lord, what can be done with this stuff during tough times, during hard times? What can we do? Because I'm thinking wealth transfer, but I'm also thinking famine. What can we do to be productive as well as make money, as well as be a blessing to people? And the Lord says, do what they're doing in the Netherlands. That's what he told me when I saw this place and I was in prayer. So let me play the video and now so you can get a little more insight. With me here, okay? I'm putting together a little video for you. So we're going to go into this little discussion. Now, this right here, obviously, you can see we're on the outside of a old shopping mall. I don't know if I'm going to put this video on YouTube. When I say YouTube, meaning for the public, but definitely Patreon members. Now, we're preparing for famine and tough times. This is what the Lord shared with me. I was praying, and I was just seeking the Lord, like, what can we do? What could the body of Christ do to help this situation? How can we prepare it, but how can we be a Joseph? And I was just literally driving by one of these old places that are abandoned, and what did the Lord do? He dropped it on me, okay? So as you can see here, outside of this old place, and it's not being used, right? Totally abandoned. And we know that's because of the work and everything like that. You know, when I say work, meaning like the, lack of work per se. Okay, this place, I don't know, 40,000, 50,000 square feet, maybe 100,000 square feet. I got to check, I got to look it up. But the thing that people are not understanding is the Lord had told me, do it like the Netherlands. So in the Patreon, we're going to discuss what am I talking about. Do it like the Netherlands. I'm going to discuss it in depth, and you guys are going to have more info than the people inside the on YouTube. So this right here, if we do it like the Netherlands, you see the size of this place. For those of you that are appointed to be a Joseph and are preparing for the future, the ones that are financially able, if you have the money, or if you and a few other friends who are called to be Josephs can partner, what you do is you buy a place like this, these old abandoned properties, the ones that the supermarkets or the mall or whatever, it used to be a mall or like a Kmart or some of those big discount stores back in the day, Zayres, Kmart, Service Merchandise, you name it. You buy these territories, and if you can't buy it, you lease it. Extended lease, because you have the money. You and a bunch of partners by yourself. And look at that. It also has the shipping doors. Why am I showing you this? Because you then turn it into a food distribution place of producing your own food. Just like the video I showed you on the Netherlands. The Netherlands, as small as that country is, the size of, I don't know, size of New Jersey, maybe no smaller than that, I think. They're producing a lot of food for Europe as well as for the Middle East and Africa. And they're shipping it all over the world, the food they're producing. That's the advantage of being a Joseph. If you can produce your own food, your own product, during a time of famine, you not only can help your neighbors, help your community, you can make sure that your local neighbors are fed. You can then be, as a Joseph, you can make money and be wise. And literally, you have the shipping. That's what the shipping docks are. Your delivery trucks will come right here and then load up the food, and you can ship it around the world to people who are in need, and you're making the money. You are making money hand over fist, especially if we're talking about during a food crisis, a famine. Okay? That is what I'm showing you right here. This is the revelation that was just given to me recently, to do it like the Netherlands. So on the inside of this place, you're going to put, you'll have the massive setup of producing your own food, hydroponic systems, more than likely. But there's other ways. But just like the video that I'm showing you from the Netherlands, the other video, you're going to watch that video. No matter where you are in the United States, Canada, whatever, you're going to know, okay, I can then rig this place, get it fixed up to grow food on the inside. As I'm growing food on the inside, I know I can go in business to selling the food as well as helping my community when I'm ready. You know, you could take a portion as a tithe, give to your local community, your local church, local areas, people in need, and be a Joseph. But yet, you're still wise enough and a good steward of what God's given you to continually make money and produce. So you're not only helping yourself, you're helping your community. You see what I'm saying, guys? Don't look at these things and think it's nothing. This is not a waste of space. I've got so many ideas, and this came to me the other day in prayer, and I was asking the Lord, what could we do? And this is what the Lord showed me. So guys, take it seriously, what I'm telling you. Look at that video, what I said to you about the farming in the Netherlands, the hydroponics. It's very simple. You just do that, replicate what they're doing in that video in your own community, whether you're in the United States or Canada. And if you're in some other part of the world, doesn't matter, because I have Patreon members in the UK as well. You replicate exactly what they're doing and do it in your community with your wealth transfer funds. Very, very simple. Don't overthink it. Okay? Yeah. Pause there. Don't overthink this, guys. There's so many different ways to, if you can hear what I'm saying, what I'm teaching you, there's so many different ways to do this. It's not just limited to fruits and vegetables too. That's what I'm about to show you. You can have a hybrid where you have fruits, vegetables, and you're also doing fish. You can have your own fish tanks in a place like this. Let me give you an example. All right. It gets very deep. All right. Take a little quick look here. This was a gentleman in Canada. He started in mind the commercial.
Remember how
I'm just
Uber
gonna skip
completely
past
changed
that.
the game for taxis? Made them faster, easier, and just better? Well, someone just did the exact.
This gentleman in Canada, he started a fish farm in a basement, and he's got fish, and he's selling fish. And the fish that he's selling, actually, because he has it in such a nice closed environment, he doesn't even have antibiotics on his fish. So the fish are very well taken care of, and they're not like even though they are technically farm raised, his quality is very good. All right, and he's selling a large amount of fish to restaurants and shops. Okay, but we're talking about famine, tough times, and things of that nature. This man is already prepared, and he doesn't even know it. Okay, but let me just show you just a few minutes of this. This is a quick one, just to make you think that it doesn't have to just be fruits and vegetables. You can do fish as well.
We are at the start of the movement, and we think that's going to be something that's going to be needed in the long run.
I'm here in the basement of a Montreal warehouse in a Hansik, where an urban fish farm has been set up to cultivate Arctic char. It's the first of its kind in Quebec, producing fish for local restaurants and grocery stores.
Our fish is good, it's fresh, we take care of it. And also, like, compared to like the nature and everything, we're trying to be as eco-friendly as possible. So during winter time, if the fisheries like in Gaspésie are not back open, instead of going to Chile or Norway or some other places to get your fish, getting a fresh local fish is always the best option.
The business is called Peekskill, and it began operation in 2019 with the first commercial sales of these Arctic char coming earlier this year.
We're the first one egg to the table like in Quebec. We are using state-of-the-art technology for that.
In total, there are 11 water tanks here, 6 smaller ones and 5 that are 6 feet deep and 15 feet in diameter. Currently, there are about 70 to 80,000 fish being cultivated, and the hope is to produce about 25 to 30 tons of Arctic char per year.
That's what they look like right now. And if we go in a year, if we go to the other tank over there, so I'm going to fish a fish that has been born in 2021. So a year of difference. So that's the difference between a year for those fish.
Peekskill is part of the Montreal urban agriculture scene that has recently been named the world capital of urban agriculture by the Laboratoire sur l'agriculture urbaine.
In this building, there is 19 other companies that are in the urban agriculture like movement. We got people who grow mushroom on the other side of the wall, people who grow greenery on that side.
As far as the delivery of these fish to restaurants and grocery stores, Apercule says that they're transported by an electric vehicle within hours of leaving the basins.
We don't use any antibiotic, any hormone, any chemical to treat the fish. They are pretty much in their own bubble, so they are not exposed to any disease. And
You heard what he said, and for his, no antibiotics, no hormones. His is it's a closed system. His fish are just clean, and you saw the size in some of the videos. You saw the size how big his fish can get. It's Arctic char, but this is just to give you guys this example, is understanding that we're not just talking about fruits and vegetables. There's numerous different ways to become a Joseph. So we have the example in the Netherlands, and now you're seeing an example right here being done in a basement in Canada, in Montreal.
we always try to make the water as optimal for them as possible.
The Arctic char is a fish that is local to the northern part of Quebec, and this is one of the main reasons why Apercule decided to cultivate them.
Since the fish that I would say represent Quebec, it should be known more. You should try it. It's really good. Like, there is no need to go get salmon from Chile or anywhere. Like, got this fish here, so you should try it.
In Montreal, Gareth Maddock-Jones, City News.
Now, I like that because I'm a little biased. I'm a fan. I love fish. I like salmon. Arctic char is in the salmon family. So he's got me sold anyway. So I'm just saying for those of you who may have an adversity to meet, but as a businessman, I can see the business already. And if we're thinking Joseph, we're thinking famine, we're thinking hard times, we're preparing for tough times, and some of us, we know the Lord is releasing funding to us. We have to start thinking ahead, guys. We have to think like a Joseph, think preparation, think what I can do to prosper, but what I can also do to be a blessing to family, to friends, to neighbors. Okay. That's the mindset that we all have to adopt. So that right there, so we have an example. Netherlands, then we got Canada. That was Montreal. Let me show you another example of just someone who's doing something. This is in the Middle East. All right. This video I'm going to show you right now, just to show you that this isn't limited on growing your own food, starting to be productive. Pardon me.
This Emirati entrepreneur is using an innovative technique to grow food in the desert. He's using a fish farm. The experimental approach has allowed him to produce up to 3 times the yield of conventional farms while reducing water use by 90%. The farm in a lane which is...
Now let me pause. You notice they're not even using that much water, whether it's they're growing fruits, vegetables, or even fish. The water production, the water usage has been reduced significantly. That's why I'm showing you this for, like, if you acquire your own building or if you go in a partnership and stuff like that, it can be done. So I'm just showing you guys this in different parts of the world to not let anyone try to talk you out of it and say, no, it can't be done. Yes, it can be done, because again, if we're talking about some tough times in the future, if there's strict restrictions on water wherever you're at, this is the type of business to know that you're not going to be using much water.
is more than 100 kilometers from the sea, grows fruit and vegetables in abundance in all seasons.
I'm Abdurrahman Rashid Saeed Al Shamsi. I'm the owner of this farm. I use the new system. It is called aquaculture system, and this is farm, and it is very good system and sustainable system also.
Each of these 12 pools has up to 50,000 tilapia fish. The water from the pools is distributed to the farm through drip irrigation, and the fish waste, which is rich in ammonia, is used as a fertilizer. Another innovative concept is the on-site bacteria producing factory. It converts inactive bacteria to active bacteria, which is then added to the water in the fish pools and also mixed with the soil in the field. Bacteria in the fish pools converts ammonia to nitrites and then nitrates. And then plants absorb the nitrates as nutrients. When fish grow to market size, they are sold and replaced with new fish reared from eggs.
I buy an active bacteria 5% and honey 5%, and the water it is 90%, and I merge it together and I close it without any air. Then after 15 days it will come active bacteria.
Every year, the farm produces 150,000 kilograms of fruit and vegetables, including dates, pomegranates, watermelon, zucchini, cabbage, and mangoes. It also produces 50,000 kilograms of tilapia every year. Plastic coverings on soil help in pest control and soil moisture conservation. The farm also raises special chicken known as Lamborghini chicken, a rare breed from Indonesia that has jet black feathers. It is considered to be among the most expensive chicken breeds in the world, and according to reports, it can fetch thousands of US dollars. The farm is self-sufficient and sustainable, as the food for the fish as well as the animals are all grown on the farm. The fish feeds on these floating ferns called azolla, and the livestock feed on alfalfa food crops. Both are grown in-house, thereby reducing the farm's operating costs.
It is like almost from 25,000 to 30,000 monthly. I get a good profit here because I use new technique, new thing.
Mr. Al-Shamsi, who has won several awards for this enterprising concept, believes his farm can serve as a prototype for tackling water and food security in arid environments.
You know, we are facing the challenge.
Now, you heard what it said. They're facing water and food security. That's the key words, water and food security. All right. And this is right now, I'm just showing you this because this is an example in the Middle East, and part of it is indoors, part of it is outdoors. But the word that what I'm sharing today is we're preparing for commercial farms. We're preparing commercial farms and real estate. We're merging it. We're preparing it for famine. So I'm just putting you in that mindset, showing you this gentleman, some of the stuff that he's doing, which is very innovative. You see what he's doing with the fish, with the fertilizer. He's got the food growing. It's amazing. And again, part of his operation is part indoors, part outdoors. All right. But now without going into that whole video, let me take you back to the Netherlands video that I was going to show you in the very beginning. Now this was another Netherlands video. It's just showing you now, just to bring it back on food production, because I want you to think with the video I showed you of like having your own place. It doesn't have to be a fully in glass place because it depends on what you're doing. You can have part of the place, part glass, have it part concrete. You can just leave the whole thing concrete. You can rip off the ceiling, put for the ceiling of the building. You can have that all exposed. Whatever you want to do. There's so many different ways you could do this. I've been studying this for quite a while, but I'm just trying to inspire you and also show you to be very open to what you could do to produce food, because that's the whole thing we're preparing to do. We're preparing to produce food, whether it's fish, vegetables, fruit, whatever you can produce. You're going to be prepared to produce it. And yes, you could do this on a small scale. I've seen some of this stuff in North Carolina, people doing small little tiny things in the basement where they have like 10, 20 fish. They got little plants growing with LED lighting and stuff. That's small. You could do that on a small scale, but I'm trying to show you don't be limited and don't limit God on where you can go with this. All right. So let me just play this quick little 2-minute video just to give you that more of insight of just how they're producing all this food in the Netherlands. Again, we're going back to the Netherlands because that's where the original word was, but the Lord opened my understanding.
Holland is pretty crowded. Our land is quite expensive. Labor is expensive. So we have to be as efficient as possible. We have to be more efficient than others to compete. And that competition drives innovation and technology.
As you can see, pause, they're indoors. This is an indoor farm. All right.
we decided to go for not more hectares, but for more yield per hectare. And that's the moment that we start looking into precision ag, precision technology. A lot of people think it's science fiction, but it really is not.
So pause. You can see right there, these are greenhouses they have there. There's food on the inside growing. Again, using less natural resources, less water, etc. All right. Greenhouses, you could have inner buildings. We're showing you just so many different things. I'm gonna hit play again. I don't know if the volume's up, but don't worry because I think you guys are getting the point.
We have only 14.5 hectares and we're producing around 100 million tomatoes a year. The idea about this greenhouse is we even use less water, we use 50% less energy. Our tomato plants grow in a hydroponic system, so we know for sure that everything is clean and we can steer everything very precisely. We use all the new techniques.
I want to pause on that too. Notice they keep saying this, that we know our food is clean. It's clear because it's an indoor system. So they don't have to worry about some of the things that you've heard me say and others say about food concerning famine, which is blights, parasites, certain diseases affecting the crops. That happens in nature. Sometimes it's natural, but we also know in this day and age, there's a military application to this where you can create a famine. You can put a virus on someone's farmland. Remember, we've discussed in this class what the FBI had discovered a few months ago, where they had the young man, the people were caught at the airport from China, and they had this special this food pathogen that can affect farms, and this is mainstream news, and they were concerned. The FBI arrested these men because the pathogen they had, if they released that onto a major farm or in a major farming area, it could kill all the crops and stop all the food from growing on the crops there. And that's agroterrorism. That stuff, it does exist. Competitors do this to other competitors, and we're in a day and age where nation states are threatening to do it to other nation states, where they're inducing a famine to happen to your particular country or your area. So if you have an indoor system, whether it's an indoor system where you're growing fruits, vegetables, or you're growing fish, whatever, and it's clean, there's no outside interference, and of course you may have a security guard or a couple security guards, you have an advantage, because if it's an outdoor farm, you may stand at a disadvantage if something happens. If a virus or a plague or something hits that particular farm, you could stand at a disadvantage. And I'm not speaking fear. I'm just speaking the reality of the situation of where we're going right now. For those of you in the United States, I think it should be clear. You saw what happened in the news, what I mentioned. For those of you guys over in Europe, anything can happen. Between you got the Russia-Ukraine situation, if that spills over into World War III, which it can very well happen, then you're going to have a bigger issue on your hand if all types of stuff starts going. China and Taiwan, if that breaks out and it's going to spill into a bigger situation, I do foresee nation states inflicting famine on other countries. Okay, that's the reality of warfare and war. So it will be good to have one of these type of systems in your control, where you're the one producing food and it's protected as well. That's why I like these greenhouses, as well as growing stuff indoors, whether you're doing it in basements, etc. It does not have to be a greenhouse to produce food. I want to repeat that again. It doesn't have to be a greenhouse for you to grow food on the inside. There's a lot of different ways. I've already seen it done. I've been in basements where people were growing food. All right. You can grow food with LED lighting, with the right lighting. You can do all kind of amazing things. So let me just hit play to finish this off.
And all the innovations with a minimum impact on the environment.
My definition of precision farming is doing the right thing on the right moment on the right place. Of course, we're more sustainable because we use less input, and that's economically good for me. We use a range of technology. We are using soil scans that measure the soil quality and the availability for nutrients in the soil. And then the thermal cameras can detect diseases or water stress. Implementing precision farming is a way of getting a better yield and a better quality. I still believe that farming is the job of the future. There will be more people, more amounts to feed, and less area. We have to expand the yields of our food that much that we actually need the precision farming to do that.
Sometimes sustainable solutions are costing a bit more on the short term, but on the long term they should be more effective. And that's actually what we are seeing. You need to have the guts to invest in those kind of things for the long term.
Let me skip that right here. You notice this right here? I had to just bring that back because that video is over, but I wanted to bring it back. Do you notice this right here? They are growing food indoors. Look up, guys. That's indoors. You don't see greenhouse. You don't see any glass up top. So I wanted to point that out because I know there's always a naysayer, someone who'll say, oh, well, it's all greenhouse. No, it's not all greenhouse. There's some ways you can do this with innovative technology. With the right lighting, you can do this. There's so many different ways to do it. I've been studying this for quite a while, and I've been to a few locations where people were actually growing food in basements. It can be done. So this is something that I want everybody just to take this seriously, because if you can get your hands on a building, on a warehouse, something that could be dirt cheap because the owners, they just want to let it go, because that happens as well with some businesses. Let's just say, for example, here in the States, we have sometimes some businesses, they'll actually let a property go because let's say that particular property was no longer financially beneficial for the company. They could have 100 different properties around the country, but one in a certain location, a building or a warehouse, it's not producing. So they shut the business down. They lay all the workers off. They shut the business down. And then sometimes they're willing to sell that building or that property at a loss just to get it off their books. And that's where you can take advantage, i.e. wealth transfer people. You could take advantage, buy the building, buy the facility, buy it when what other companies selling at a loss, and then you go in with the vision of starting some type of food production facility inside that place. All right, whether you're raising you're raising cattle, whether you're doing something small, whether you having a fish farm, whether you're doing fruits, vegetables. Have a vision, go in, be a Joseph, go in with that mentality, because I'm telling you, this is one thing that does not change on planet Earth. Human beings need to eat. Let me repeat that one more time. Human beings need to eat. So if you can get that through your head, and I'm saying that with love, then you can know that during a famine, you don't have to suffer. You can be like Joseph and you can prosper, because you're the one producing the food. And you can, yes, you can bless your church, bless your community. You can give a portion of it away for free, but you can be in business and you can sell the food you're producing. You can trade some of that food, go into a partnership with other farms and trade for what you need. And if it's indoor, you also have the food security. If there's bad weather, if there's agro-terrorism, plagues, blights, we hear the situation with like people with the bird flu situation. There was in certain areas where the chickens, they had to cull a lot of chickens because of bird flu. But in some particular farms where the chickens were in an indoor environment like this, those chickens were not affected by those bird flu situations. All right. So that's why I'm trying to get your mind to think on start preparing for commercial farming and commercial real estate. Start getting into that mindset of what you can do and ask God to give you the insight. Start praying, ask God, say, okay, Lord, what can I do with that building? I see they're willing to sell it. They're willing to lease it for 100 years, or they're willing to sell it outright. And I know they're going to sell it cheap because the company's desperate for money. What can I do, Lord? Can you give me the vision? What can I do with that particular property? What can I do with it? How can I be a good steward? How could I be a Joseph with that property? And I'm telling you, God will answer you. because he's not just answering it for you and your sake. He's answering it for other people because there's other people who will be affected. Okay. So that's where I wanted to make sure I wanted to show you guys this. Like I said, there's so many different ways, but that was the word from that I received when the Lord told me. He said when I was praying, I was looking at some of these old buildings, and I was like, Lord, what can be done with this famine? And I'm outside one of these old strip malls, and as I was outside the strip mall, and I'm asking the Lord what can be done, the Lord says, do as what they're doing in the Netherlands, and I immediately it clicked because I remember Netherlands, they're producing so much food indoors, and they're one of the top exporters of food in the world. He said, do as what they're doing in the Netherlands. And I just showed you examples, guys, that the Netherlands, they got it on lock when it comes to producing food indoors, but it's not just the Netherlands. I showed you an example of the guy here in Canada. This gentleman, I showed you that, where he's producing fish right in a warehouse, in a basement in Montreal, Canada. He's producing big old Arctic char. These fish are huge. They're in the salmon family. He's doing that. There's other people. You got the brother over here in the UAE. He's producing it. He's got inside and he's got outside, and he's using all these new innovative methods for commercial farming. He has a fish farm growing, and he's growing food in the middle of the desert. Hello. There's nothing else that we even need to discuss. This gentleman is doing it in the middle of a desert. Okay? So there is no excuse for us because most of the people in this class are not don't live in a desert. And this guy can do it. All right. So if some of you, I know you're talking that, okay, I believe in the wealth transfer properties and God's going to transfer the wealth and I'm going to use money for the kingdom, but you don't have a plan or anything like that. I'm putting it right out there. Everybody in my Patreon class, you already know because you've been in this class long enough. If we put this on YouTube for our brothers and sisters on YouTube, you guys on YouTube, you're not going to have an excuse. You know how to pray. You need to start seeking the Lord on what you're supposed to do with the funding He's going to bless you with in the very near future. All right. So I'm going to take this off of I'm going to stop the video, but we're going to continue with the class. I'm just going to stop the video because I think I'm going to send this maybe to the brothers and sisters out there in YouTube land.